catch myself, help me out. Had my bed, then you let go. I'm fighting with that too. I'm standing alone. Just like that, you left me cold. I guess at the end of the day, it's just me and my phone.
Welcome back to Queen's Mindset. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We are so happy to have you here with us on our season, Battered Bruised Not Broken season 4, guys. If you've been watching already, then you know it is so good. Every season, we get women who are powerful, who come to share their stories with you. And I'm super excited because guess what? We have another woman in the room and she's going to be here to share her story with you tonight. But before we go any further, if you have not done it already, I want you to go right ahead and hit that subscribe button just down below and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel so that you can be kept abreast of every video that we bring out. So let's get right into it and let's welcome our guest for tonight, Shanae. Hi, Shanae. How are you?
Hi, Kimisha. I am fine, thank you. And you?
I am blessed. I am blessed. I'm so excited to have you here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Most definitely. So, Shanae was sharing with everyone that, of course, you have a powerful story. But before we get into your story, I want you to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right, so Shanae Cooper-Robinson is the mother of two adorable children. She's a wife, an educator, author, amidst a host of other skills. Right? To put it in a nutshell, I wear many hats that fit.
Awesome. Many hats that fit. I love that. Many hats that fit. But where do you find the time to do all that stuff? Because that's quite a lot.
All right. It boils down to managing my time, right? Budgeting, prioritizing, as well as managing my time, right?
Wow, managing your time, guys. It's all about balance. It's definitely all about balance. So, Shanae, like I said earlier, you have a powerful story. And I know the ladies are at the edge of their seat because they can't wait to hear what is her story. So, we're going to start from the beginning and begin to unpack your story. I want you to tell us where it all started for you.
All right. So I grew up I grew up in dire poverty in a single parent household that was headed by my mom, right? She did every ethical thing to cater for our needs, my siblings as well as I, right? She would go to market as well as do odd jobs to ensure that our needs are being taken care of. Life, even doing all that, life was very difficult, right? Life was very difficult, and it had even gotten more difficult when my sister's innocence was taken away at the age of 6 to 8 years thereby, right? That was where that was like the turning point of our life and my life as well, right? We suffered psychologically and emotionally from that situation because as a child, my siblings and I, right, as well as our mom, we had to move from that location and we had to go and live with um I had to go and live with my grandmother. It was while living with my grandmother where I felt the ultimate end of hardship. Talking about having to go to pond to get water, having to use wood fire, pit latrine, all that. Life was just difficult, right? My mom, she sent us to school under struggling circumstances and all that. Um, it was very hard. After my sister's innocence was taken away, my mom lost her mind, right? At the time, she had my youngest brother who was a baby. So you know how that was. It was just a struggle. All right. So family came in and they said, all right, they're going to help us out because we didn't have a father in our life. It was just our mom, and that happened. So my we lived with our grandmother shortly after that. No, my mom, she started coming around a bit, right? So our auntie, she opened the doors of her little abode for us to stay there, and it was a one bedroom structure, right? She had her six children, my mom with her six children as well, in that one little bedroom home, right? Where we call home. We did everything outside except for sleeping, and life was just rough. I remember six of us, my siblings and I, we had to go to school, primary school, and we got like $50 to go to school. And sometimes we took taxi. That would be like very rare, but when we do, that would lesser our money by about $30, and we just had that for pocket money. All right, knowing that, and we want to buy stuff, what we did, we start taking the shortcut, right? We usually take shortcut to go to school, and while going through those shortcuts, we had a lot of things to face, right? A lot of adversities, as you would put it. We have to face mad people, we have to face barbed wires, animals, mud pool, all of that, right? We went to school, we went to primary school under struggling circumstances and all that. I went on and I moved on to high school. There at high school, I lost myself of my sense of self. It was where I was trying to fit in with my peers, right? I started deviating from the person who I was. And I remember one of my friend when I was in fourth grade, I was even in a crew. When I was in fourth grade, one of my friends, she got pregnant, and I used that. I used sleep to mark death. I said that I'm stemming from the bowels of poverty. I know my situation. I know that my mom has it very hard, and I cannot let this happen to me. So I did self assessment and self evaluation, which led me to a conscious decision to say that, well, you better buckle up yourself, and you better change your folly ground and stuff like that. Settle down and do your exam. I did my exam and I passed, right? Knowing everything, I said, okay, the only way out of this poverty would be to get a good education. So I move on to college, right?
Wow.
When I
So
moved,
let's pause for a second because that's a lot to digest. So let's begin to unpack what you've shared so far. So you first started by telling us, coming up in the household that you were in and how things were a struggle. And you talked about your sister, well, did you witness it, or did your sister just tell you? Did you witness her being interfered with? How did that happen? Explain
all
that part
right,
for me a
so
bit more.
she said it, and it was proven, right? Because my mom went through the different procedure, took her to doctor and all of that, right? The evidence was there. So yes, and it was very hard for all of us, even though she was the one who was the victim of that,
Wow. And
right?
was that done by a family member or was it done by a friend?
It was actually a neighbor, yes. And he usually like give us ice cream, all of us, and we thought that he was a good person, and got cozy and comfortable with him, and that happened. So it was actually our neighbor at the
Wow.
time.
So now this happened and you said she was between 6 to 8 years old. And are you the younger one or are you the older one, the older sister?
I am the youngest one.
So you would have been just around what age when that happened to her?
Maybe I would be just about 2 years old thereabout. Yeah,
Yes,
I
you've
was
been
very young,
very young.
but
But
I
obviously,
I I remember everything.
Wow.
Yes.
So then coming out and you knowing that your sister had gone through that, you had, even though like you said she was a victim, but you still had your story to tell because you were still affected by it. Because obviously from that you said your mom now she lost her mind because obviously, that was traumatic for her. So how were you
Yes.
able then, when you got to an age where you could understand what was really happening, like really put it all together? How did you how were you able to mobilize through that process?
It was very hard, because it took a toll on my emotion. It affected me emotionally, psychologically, because life has never been the same since, right? We were displaced from our usual setting as a family and as a home. And knowing that mom was going through all that, it was just a roller coaster of emotion, right? It was rough.
Wow, I can only imagine. And then you said, having gone through that with your mom, then having her mental breakdown, and then you guys had to be sent to your auntie's home, and your auntie was also, struggling as well. But then there are now 12 of you in one room, you know,
14, 14.
14 actually. Wow,
Yes,
14 in one room. So that's even
right.
more. How at what age were you at that time when you guys had to be all together? Were you still at age 2 or at that time were you a bit older?
I was maybe I got a bit older, right? After the incident, we went to live and we stayed there until I become an adult. So I went to primary school there, I went to high school and so forth.
Wow.
Yes.
How was that for you? Because I mean, you said all of you guys were sharing one room, and that could not have been like how big was the room? Can you tell us how big that room was?
It wasn't that big, it was if I should put it, I could put it in this way. It was very uncomfortable because it was just a small space. As children, and you know that children would be active and want to move up and about, right? We could not do that. The room did not facilitate that, right? As I said before, we could only sleep in there. We did everything outside except for sleeping, right? That means we could play in there or anything. You had the room was very small. You have the little a bed over this side, my aunt's bed, and my mother's bed over on the other side, and maybe you have just a little aisle in there where you could walk from one bed to the next. So it was a very small space. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. So did your mom was your mom able to get help for her mental breakdown?
Well, she shortly after the incident, she started going to church, right? And you know that she started directing her energy in a different light, where she would get pastor would speak on topics, right? Maybe similar to that, and that would actually help because after going to church, then, she started recuperating, making small steps, and so forth. So that was the only help that she got that I know of.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yes,
But I mean, it's the best help because you got God, and once you have God, you have everything. So that's still
true.
good. That's so good. And I think this is an amazing story, a story really of resilience because most people could have been in that situation. I could have decided that, I don't deserve to live. So at any point, did you feel like giving up? Did you feel like, what, I don't deserve to live?
No, I've never felt in my life that I would want to give up or end life, right? Because I know that once I have life, I have hope. Once there is life, there is hope. And it doesn't matter how hard the situation is, right? Once you have a positive mindset and you have that willpower that, yes, this is the circumstances or the adversity that I'm facing, but it's not going to be my norm all the day, right? I have the positive mindset, and I did everything in my power to escape that situation. I use education as a mean or a driving force to get me from that point to where I am now.
Wow. Wow. And that's powerful because you took a
Yes.
different look on things and you decided that you know what, there must be a way out and I'm going to look for that way out. So I really want to congratulate you for that level of strength, and because you didn't quite have, did you have a role model? Don't let me speak for you, but was there a role model in your family that you looked up to or somebody around you close by?
No, there was no role model. I normally tell people that I was the first to go to college, the first to graduate from high school, the first to get CXC. So it was like I didn't have any role model, so I had to model the role, right? I
Wow.
didn't want to fall in the same trend, so I had to be the trendsetter to change the norm.
I like that. I like that. So you see, ladies, it's okay with you setting the trend. It's fine with you setting the trend. Sometimes you have to be willing to set the trend. Sometimes you have to go above and beyond the reach so that you can be the person who makes the example for the others to follow. And I love that Shanae was able to set that trend and be that model for her siblings to be able to see that, you know what, Shanae did it. So we can too, because she found a way out. We were all in the same situation. She had the same access to the same things that we had access to. But what she did differently was that she stretched herself. And sometimes we're stuck in a position because we're not stretching ourselves and we're settling for what we have access to when there's so much more beyond that is out there for us. So I really, really, really want to congratulate you for, for going outside of thinking outside of the box. So now you said you push yourself through school, you did your CXCs, you decided you want to go to college, you want to better yourself. So tell me about that journey in bettering yourself. How was that for you?
All right. It was a rough journey, right? I faced a lot of embarrassment, a lot of belittlements and stuff like that, financial instability. But I remember this church sister said to me that, look, it doesn't matter how hard it may get, right? Once you start, you must finish. And that was what I held on to. And I had strong faith in God. And I said, God, you will not bring me this far to leave me. So those were what I used to help me to get out of the situation or to pursue my dreams, even when it seemed dismal, right? And I cannot overemphasize or stress the value of good people, because while I was going through all that I was going through at college and I could not find the school fee, right? Or I could not pen my way out financially. But I wrote my way through college. I wrote letters to the then principal asking her please to give me the permission to sit my exam. I am not the reason why I find myself in poverty, but I'm trying my best to take myself out of that situation. So just please, I'm asking her to give me the privilege to do my exam. So it all comes down to favor from God and favor from human beings as well, good people.
Wow. Wow. That was a bold move. That was a bold move. And that's good because not most people can make such a move. So I get I keep have to say it all the time. I have to commend you for your boldness for stepping up because you wanted it so badly. And I find that sometimes if we don't get to that place where we want something so badly, there's a saying that if you really want it, you will find a way to get it.
So
And
true.
that's exactly what you did. You found a way in it. All you had your words and you used your words. And that's powerful. So to you women who are watching here tonight, if you can relate to anything that Shanae is sharing here tonight, one thing that I want you to take away is use your words and be bold and go after what it is that you want. So you went through that process. You were able then to find favor with the principal. You got to set your exams. You came out, you were able now to start charting your path forward. Tell us about when things start to take a turn for better. Like things started to change now, and you started to see, all my hard work is actually paying off. When did that turn come for you?
All right. So after I have graduated from college, right, I did not just settle at my bachelor's degree, but I am this type of person who just love to work. Right. So I went ahead and I gained a lot of skills. I did an event planning course, right? Because I'm an event planner. I did cake baking and decorating, and I just scroll through Google or go on YouTube and I upgrade my knowledge, right? Decorating just about everything, right? I don't really limit myself. I can do a little of everything. I do hairstyles as well. Just about everything. It's about being flexible and versatile, because one of the things that poverty or financial deprivation has taught me is to be flexible. So when you don't have the money to do this or to do that, then having your multiple skills that save you money. It doesn't save you time, but money, right?
Wow. Doesn't save you time, but it does save you money. I like that. I like that you became flexible and versatile because you were willing to go above and beyond to achieve what you needed to achieve. So now you were going through that. You were, you're doing the hair, you're doing the cake baking, you're also doing event planning, and you're doing whatever it takes that is legal so that you can have those finances coming in to cover your bills and your costs. What was happening at that point with your family? And did you feel guilty or anything for being the one who decided to want more? Or was it that you were more encouraging and you found that because you made those steps that they started to step along with you as well?
Well, I felt very proud in that I was in the position where I could help my family, and I have this mentality: I will teach you to fish, but I don't promise you that I will give you a fish every day. So that was what I did, right? So I helped my siblings, right? I said, okay, I'm at a point where I am financially independent. So if it is that you want to do here, because I one of my sisters, she loved that. So you can guess what you do? You go to hairstyle school, right? And you sharpen your hairstyle skills and stuff like that, right? As well as she did other courses, housekeeping, waitering, and all those, right? So I was at a place where I could help my family, help them to become um productive citizens of society, where they could be financially independent as well.
Wow. Wow. So that's good. That's a good story, because you helped them and they were able to get on their feet and start to help themselves. And that's good.
Right.
So at no point did you feel guilty for moving ahead? Like did you have, what were types of feelings? I know you said you felt proud that you can look back and you can reach back and you can help. But did your family make you feel guilty for achieving more than they were achieving at the time?
No, there was no guilt, right? It was more of a case where I was placed in the position where I could help, right? I could be the tower of strength. I could be the role model, right? Knowing that before I did it, there was no one to. So I have now become their role model. So they would want to try and say, okay, Shanae has went through a lot of adversities and she achieved this or that. So just like she has, I can.
Okay.
Right. So it's like setting the pedestal for them, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing. So that means then at no time did you feel like you were the one having to carry the weight. You didn't feel burdened at any time of feeling like, oh my God, I have to carry them until they can stand on their feet. Did you ever had any types of feelings like that?
No, because I was just more than happy that I was placed into the situation where I could take my family out of poverty and I could help in whatever way, right? I could help to get them to reach their goals as well. So there was no guilt at all. It was more of me trying to be the one that they could actually look up to and to say, all right, then, Shanae, Shanae has paved the way, right? There was no I didn't see it as any financial burden because when, just as how I want good for myself, right? In the situation, given when I'm placed in the at the R, I was at the position where I could help them. There wasn't any burden. It was more of a joy because I know that, all right, if I can help my siblings to do what I can do, then you know that further down the road, then there won't be any burden on me. Because, like I said before, I was teaching them to fish and not to give them a fish a day.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. That's very powerful. Wow. Okay, so now you're on your feet, you're getting things in place, you're able to reach back, you can help them, you've got them. What was one of your greatest joy? I know you said if you felt good being able to help them, but based on how you helped them, is there anything that you can remember that you said you can say that gave you really great joy, knowing that you know what they were able to accomplish this because I was able to help them?
All right, most definitely. And it has been recently too. I remember my sister, she did this waitering course with the Western Hospitality Institution, right? All right, so my sister, she has never graduated from high school. She has never graduated from college. She has never did her CXC before, right? And I am few months back, I watched her being a proud graduate from the Western Hospitality Institution, and it almost not happened because she said to me prior to the graduation that, Shani, I don't think that I'm going to graduate. I'm happy that I did the course and I get my certificate, but I'm not going to graduate. And I said to her, girl, are you crazy? You could went through all this, the sleepless nights, doing all the practicals and that, and not graduating. And she listened and she went and she graduated. And when I saw her in that graduation gown, I was so proud. My mom was there as well and her twin brother, right? And that was just a proud moment. I was like so elated. I have never been happier and for anyone else like that, right? Even my all of my accomplishments put together, I wasn't that happy like I was for her, knowing that she has achieved that.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. So I know you wrote a book. I want you to tell us a little bit about the book that you have written and what got you to that point of actually writing your book.
All right, so my book, From the Root to the Fruit, Rising Above Adversities, right? This book, it documents my upbringing, my life stories, my grassroots encounters, right? It track my progress from nothing to something, from my root experiences, like I've mentioned earlier about I growing up in dire poverty to the point where I have accomplished what I have accomplished, my first degree, my second degree, with a host of other skills, right? What led me to write this book? I wanted to leave a legacy for my offspring so that they can appreciate the hardship that I went through in life and take nothing for granted, right? And I also want to leave a legacy. I remember sharing my story with people, right? About what I've been through, And I know that if I share my story with you, chances are that when we the conversation ends, then maybe we'll just forget. But my having a book or writing a book, that leaves a legacy. So it transcends beyond my time, right? My lifetime. So that's really a legacy. And what really propelled me to write my book was all the experiences that I have gone through, right? That would include my upbringing while I was at college, all the struggles that I've been through. I remember days when I was unable to pay my school fee and my tuition. I remember days when I had to walk it up the hill to go to the lab to do my assignments. I remember there were days when I had to do my exams and I could not do them because my tuition fee was not paid. I remember days when after returning from midterm break or any other break, right? Going going by the college, and I was confronted once by the security guard, and he said that you cannot come over here with your luggage if your school fee is not paid. So what I had to do, I had to leave my suitcase at a off-campus landlord where one of my friends would normally stay. And I sat on the step in tears and I wrote a letter to the principal and I told her that, Miss, I'm writing this letter in tears, right? Because I came and I was told that I cannot come over, right? You know my situation, you know that I am financially you know my financial instabilities as well, and I did not call that on myself, but it is so unfortunate that I was born that way. But I am trying to get myself out of the situation, and she did. And there were some good people who assisted along the way. I remember in my MP at the time and other people, and I wrote to my principal, and she always exercised compassion and mercy, right? And allow me to do the exams. So those are all of some of the factors that propel me to write my book and to share my story with other persons, to let them know that, look here, adversities will come up, but guess what? You don't have to give in to it. You don't have to give up, but you can rise above them all.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How long did it take you to write your book?
All right, so I think it took me about 4 to 5 nights, if my memory serves me right. And I wrote that book after I had my baby, my second baby, my daughter. It was in the night while the baby was sleeping. I had my pencil and I wrote the book. It was just like a divine inspiration. I was just writing at one point. I wasn't consciously aware of what I was writing. I just held the pencil and I just kept going like that, going like that. And I was studying, doing my second degree at the time. And I had that young baby plus a 2 years old one. He had just turned 2 years old. So all of those I had. Plus I had online teaching, a lot of stuff. And I'm a wife as well. So it was just a lot.
Wow, wow. Talk about resilience. That is it right there. Wow. Now, who have your book been impacting? Because you just told us exactly, you walk us through what led you to write it. You told us, about why you felt the need to share that story to encourage others. But who has your book been impacting so far? And have you been getting like great testimonies and so on from persons who have been purchasing your book?
Yes, most definitely. So, when I wrote the book, I had a target audience in mind. It would be like college students going through financial instabilities, as well as the average man trying to make ends meet. So, I have been getting a lot of positive feedback about my book. And I'm yet to think if I have written the book of lamentation, because everyone who read the book, they said that I could not read your book without shedding a tear, right? They said that it is very impactful, right? It is reaching places, it is reaching people, right? And we are on that topic, I must share that my book, since recently, one of my college mates, she sent me a DM and she said, Shanae, I don't know if you realize, but your book, it is the title of your book, From the Root to the Fruit. It is actually the theme for Jamaica Day this year. So my book, it is going places, right? And it is reaching a lot of people.
Wow, 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 wow. That's amazing. Who would have thought I would have been tied to the you said Jamaica Day?
Pardon me?
What's the day that you said that the title of the book is tied to? Jamaica
Jamaica Day, right? From the root
Day.
to the fruit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
the title of Jamaica Day for this year, 2023.
Oh, wow. Isn't that
Yes.
amazing? Isn't that amazing? So tell us, if someone is watching right now and they go like, "Oh my gosh, what you just explained is exactly where I'm at. I need to read this book to see how best I can be encouraged and uplifted." Where can we get a copy of your book?
All right. So my book, it can be found on Amazon, both the Kindle and the paperback version, right? I have hard copies and I do zip mail right across Jamaica. If you're overseas and you want to get a copy, you can get it on Amazon. From the Root to the Fruit, Rising Above Adversities, right, by Shanae Cooper-Robinson. And even if you're in the Caribbean, you can get a copy. You can just Shanae Cooper. You can connect with me on social media. I am Shanae Cooper-Robinson on Facebook. That's the name of my Facebook page as well. And I am on Instagram, right? And other social TikTok and other social media platforms.
Amazing, amazing. So I hope you guys are going to get a copy. Remember, she said you can find her on Facebook and Instagram at Shanae Copper Robinson, right? That's correct.
Shanae Cooper-Robinson.
Cooper Robinson. So you can find
Right.
her there. So make sure you go ahead right now, guys. And listen, if you have not done it already, make sure you do it right now. Don't hesitate. Share this link with a friend. You want to send them this link, let them come on. Let's not guess or assume that someone might not be interested, because we really don't know what people are going through until they share their story with us. So if this can be a story that can encourage them, to give them hope, to hold on and to pull through, you want to share this link with them. And if you're not commenting, what are you waiting for? Comment in the section down below. Drop your comments, because both Shanae and I, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think about her story tonight and what questions you may have. So drop your comments below, and make sure you do not leave this live without subscribing to this channel. You don't want to miss another episode, because it just keeps getting better. Okay, so Shanae, we're coming pretty close to the end, and I have to ask, based on everything that you have gone through, is there anything that you would have done differently?
All right. No, there is nothing that I would have done differently, because my past actually made me who I am today. Right? My past is what helped me to develop this thick skin for life. Right? My past is what has given me emotional and psychological maturity to be at the stage that I am. So I wouldn't take anything from my past.
Wow, that's it. And for that lady, right, that's watching us right now, and she is right where you were, but somehow she does not know how she can do this, what would be your advice to that lady who's watching us right now? What would you say to her?
All right, so my advice would be that tough times don't last, right? Hardship and adversities are seasonal. If you have the willpower and the mindset to change your norm, then your season of adversities will be short lived. Don't give up, don't quit, don't give in when your adversities come, remember that there is always a silver lining at the end of every dark cloud, and that there's a light at the end of a tunnel. So don't give up, right? You can use the lemons that life throw at you to make lemonade. And you can also use a tamarind that life throws at you to make tamarind balls. So you don't have to look at the situation in a negative light, but there can be positivity. Positivity can come out of it, right?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So, just before we go, Shanae, is there anything that you would like to share that maybe I didn't get an opportunity to ask you, but it's resting on your heart right now, and you really want to share with our community here tonight? Feel free to go ahead.
Most definitely. All right. So, for all those viewers and listeners, I want you to know, right? Those of you who have gone through similar experiences like mine, or those of you who are going through some adversities of the sort, just remember that you are not defined by your past, but instead you can either use your past to refine or define a definition of your future, right?
Well said, well said. Listen, guys, I hope you're taking notes because Shanae has been dropping gems tonight. You know, you don't have to stay in that place any longer. There's hope. And if your sister Shanae has done it, listen, you can do it as well. She's here tonight to tell her story. She is a living proof that is possible for you to overcome. She is living proof. Trust me, you can overcome whatever that situation is. I don't want you to give up tonight. I want you to say to yourself, I am going to get through this, and this too shall pass. Because you have to go through it first in order to get to it. So don't worry about what it looks like. Just stay focused on where you are going. Don't give up. Don't faint out. Just keep pushing, keep pressing, and trust and believe you are going to reach that mark. Listen, it keeps getting better. So I hope that you did what I asked you to do earlier. I hope that you share this link with a friend. I hope that you ask them to come on and subscribe so that they don't miss out any other episodes that we have coming. Now, Shanae, we're about to head out. But tell us again, for those persons who are watching right now and they want to go ahead and find more information on what you're doing, what you have coming up next, tell us where we can find you, share your social media platforms with us.
All right, so most definitely, if you need to grab a copy of my book, it's on Amazon, both the paperback and the Kindle versions, right? You can connect with me on social media. It's Shanae Cooper-Robinson on LinkedIn. I go by that name on Facebook, under even my author page, and Shanae Cooper on Instagram, Shanae Cooper-Robinson on TikTok, right? So you can connect with me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Shanae, thank you so, so much for coming on tonight and for sharing with our community. I am sure that these women were blessed. We're so happy to have had you here, and we can't wait to hear more about what you have coming up next and what God is doing in your life. So thank you so much for sharing from your heart.
Thank you very much for having me, and keep up the good work. You're doing a
Thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you so much. You are most welcome. You are most welcome. So, guys, you heard it. You heard it. This is the story. Listen, don't worry. If you came on late and you missed some of it, that's okay. You get an opportunity to rewatch this because we're going to keep it up. So, you can come back and you can watch as many times as you want. You can share with many friends as you want because we want you to have this information every single time. So, it's going to be accessible to you. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. We indeed had fun sharing with you. It was definitely a pleasure to have you here, and we're going to see you on our next episode on Battered Bruised Not Broken. And make sure, if you have not done it before, that you subscribe to this channel. Have a good night. Bye.
Right. Bye.